say hello. Pulling. So you meet a girl and you're trying to pull her home after a date, or you just met her through cold approach or day game. Let's just say, just for argument's sake, you have a date. So you met her in whatever way you met her, cold approach or a dating app or something, and she's turned up to a date. And as most of you guys are aware from watching a lot of my videos, the default, and this doesn't work for everybody, the default is to try to take her home on the first date. I know a lot of people think that you should have like 2, 3, 4, 5 dates before you take her home. You need to wine and dine her, and you need to build a lot of rapport over multiple dates, but there's no evidence that actually works. In today's day and age, in Western society, that backfires the majority of the time. I've got the data. I've got a lot of students that actually go out there and are in the dating market right now, dating a lot of girls, and there is no correlation between having 20 dates and you taking her home at the end. Not most of the time, I won't say most of the time, a large percentage of the time, a painfully high percentage of the time, you'll end up in the friend zone, or she'll just stop replying, or she will ghost you, and she won't even explain why 2, 3 dates in. So the dominant strategy, if we're talking about this from a game theory point of view, which I think is the best way to look at this, is that you should be just taking her home on the first date. Also, the opportunity cost of dating a girl that like fourth date just ghosts you is not only the opportunity cost, but the amount of money that you put into it, the amount of effort that you put into it, and also you might get attached to her by date 3. And more guys are having their hearts broken than women in Western society. I love the data on that, but I would argue that the vast majority of men are having their hearts torn out every single day by ruthless women in Western society. And so from a game theory point of view, we have to be trying to pull on the first date. This is the default. We can change that depending on the girl. If she has communication skills and she's able to communicate that she's going to stick with you and stay around, and she's going to have 5, 6, 7, 8 dates, she's not going anywhere, then good. But communication skills isn't high up on the priority of Western women these days. They don't have communication skills. They try to make out they're boss babes, but they don't have that communication skill at all. They don't know how to tell you what's up, and part of that isn't that they not only don't have the communication skills, but they don't want to, because they don't respect us enough in the West. So anyway, that's that aspect of it. Now, pulling, she's turned up for the date, you've met her in a whole range of different ways: workplace, university, a dating app. You went out to a nightclub and one of the numbers actually replied to you for once, which is very, very rare. You meet a girl in the nightclub and she replied to you. Oh my God, that's like, you'd have to get 100 numbers for that to work. So, pulling. I've got to the pulling part. The best way to do it, I would say, let's just say you have a lunchtime date as an example. You meet the girl. Also, this is also, I would say, the same as, let's just say you met her, she turns up for the date, she knows it's a date, she's turning up to meet you. I would say this would be the same strategy as if you did a cold approach at lunchtime on a Saturday and you met a girl that you've never met before and you've approached her. I would say you could still run through this exact same date strategy. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this is a cold approach strategy that is definitely valuable for dating as well. Well, it's a dating strategy that could also be used for cold approach as well, meeting girls during the day. So the basic idea is that we would need to go to multiple different venues before trying to take her home. Okay, so for example, we just had, I just had a client meet a girl, and then we got the infield. We went through the infield. It was like, so he goes directly to basically the 7-Eleven. which is at the end of our street. He goes straight there. He walks past a whole bunch of other 7-Elevens, ice cream shop, you know, other little stores that we could have went in and maybe grabbed some snacks. Went past all of them, all the way to the end of our street, straight into 7-Eleven, grabbed 2 coffees, right?
Yeah, the coffee.
Two dirt cheap coffees, like $50 dollar coffees, and then pulled directly straight home. And we got the logistics beforehand, which means that we knew that she was free all day. She had no obligations today, so we had a lot of time to bounce around and build a lot of rapport up during the time and during the day, and let her know that it's kind of safe, and get to know her a little bit better, so that she'll feel like actually want to come straight back home. But he goes straight to the 7-Eleven, grabs 2 coffees out of the machine, which is, you know, it sounds funny, but if you're spending a lot of money on dates, you're the sucker. You should not be spending anything on dates, because what's your return on that? Might as well you'd be better off giving it to a homeless person than giving it to your dates these days in Western society. You're better off having a large volume and spending $1 on a coffee and trying to take it straight home. Because if you look at the way men are treated in the West, you need to... I see the world as equal. Treat me this way, I'll treat you that way. That's how it is. And it's not worth... Play the game with the rules that are there, okay? Let's not play the game with the rules where it was 50 years ago, where you could work 2 years and buy yourself a house and a car and have 3 kids on 1 wage. That's no longer the case. Western society is collapsing, etc. We're not going to get into that, but it's all connected. This is all connected. So 2 coffees and then pulled directly out the front of the apartment. And then she's like, oh, I can't go up. And so another problem was he didn't negotiate at that point. He didn't be like, oh, okay, well, I get it. I've known you for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Probably shouldn't come straight to my bedroom right now. So negotiate and be like, oh, okay, well, ice cream? Let's go for a walk in the park. Let's go check out the beach. We still got our coffee. Have you had lunch? There's a million options out there. But if we rewound that to the approach, we found out immediately she was free for the whole day. Let's just say it's the same as a date. Then I would argue that going to grab a takeaway coffee at the 7-Eleven nearby, and then going to maybe a walk through the park just for a little bit, walk around the park, but also keeping in mind that you've got a goal in mind, which is taking her home. So therefore you figure out where you are, and then you figure out where you can go towards home, and then go for a walk through the park, maybe get an ice cream if you wanted to do that. I don't know if you're on a diet or you've had too much sugar this week, but grab 2 ice creams and then go for a walk to... You could sit down and maybe have like a cheap sandwich or something. Found a place nearby where we could get a coffee and a sandwich dirt cheap. Wasn't even like 12 or something like that. Yeah, so it was cheap. And maybe some lunch or whatever. And then I would say the last thing that you would do during that whole time, start to kind of embed something. The classic that everybody uses, this is just the classic. What type of movie do you like? Yeah, what's your favorite genre? Something along those lines. You know, maybe we can watch that, you know. And then go to like the local, you know, Coles or Woolworths or a grocery store or whatever you got a corner store, and literally don't think about it. Don't spend half an hour in there walking around getting the perfect chips packet or biscuits. Literally grab a basket, walk down the aisle, fast, that's right, chips. Oh, that's biscuits, chuck it in. Don't look at the prices, don't think about it too much, don't waste too much time, don't stall, because you're on the home run at this stage. And this is where a lot of guys they mess up. Have you seen those people that, have you seen those races where someone has been leading the race and they're doing like a marathon race or a sprint, and right at the last moment, just before they go through the line, they slow down and they're waving to the crowd and they think they're winning, they think they're gonna win 100%, and someone just sneaks up behind them and takes it, and they ended up coming second. Going into the corner store and wondering, oh, what type of biscuits or chips or dip we're gonna get, and really thinking about it, spending 20 minutes thinking about it, is where you become that guy that lost the marathon. Walk through there, get your basket, just go bam, 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 bam. You like that? She's like, oh, I don't know. Bam, grab it. She's like, oh. Before you know, the basket's full anyway. We're at the front, we're paying for it. Boom. Movie, walking back. And when you're walking back, you don't want to be like, oh, we're just going to the end of the street. Don't worry, it's safe. We're just going to turn a left here. Don't worry, it's safe. My apartment's just over there. Don't worry, everything's okay. Because they feel what you feel, and if you're like nervous that they're not coming with you, I would say your sports psychology is off, and you just don't believe that she would want to come straight back with you. She will feel what you feel, and she will kind of recognize, because women do have a high social intelligence, as in their empathy or ability to feel what you're feeling is far superior to us. If you're a little bit nervous, she's gonna think something's not right with this guy. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's dangerous. Maybe he's got some mental issues. Maybe he's not experienced enough. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. If he's nervous about taking me to his apartment, then he might be bad in bed. Maybe he's bad in relationships. All of these things will start going on in her mind while you're like, oh, don't worry, it's safe to walk. And you think that you're making her feel like everything's going to be okay, when in fact you're just cock blocking yourself, technically. Just, we're going home. Be confident. Believe that she's going to come with you. Walk in. You don't have to get to the front door and go, oh, we're going to go through the front door. And don't worry, there's no murderers in there. That's only going to backfire. So that's the most basic take that I'd use on YouTube. For guys that are not paying for my coaching. But that's the most basic idea of what you should be doing. Like bounce, 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 bounce. The classic movie, that's just basic thing that everybody uses. And just a few other little bits of nuggets of information. But anyway, that's today's video. Thanks.